Well, hello friends, pro-life leader Frank Pavone here of Priests for Life, bringing you my daily diary. Now today I want to talk about several very busy days, December 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th of 2023. Now the reason that these days were particularly busy was that they were the December pastoral team meeting, and if you follow my daily diaries, you know that every 6 or 8 weeks apart, we have these meetings where we bring in our Priests for Life team from various cities and we do several days of prayer, fellowship, and planning. We did that for December, our end of year meeting from the 11th to the 14th. So what happened each of those days here at our headquarters? Started off on the 11th with some early morning work at my desk in emails dealing with things like approval of the email blast that goes to our whole list. Basically every day we send one out. Christmas columns that our team is writing. I communicated with our communications director about that. The texts of various spots that our team was taping here in the studio very intensively. That was one of the main projects of the week, and I had to approve those texts, and I wrote many of them. And radio specifications, arranging between staff the right communication to get radio spots to the right specs. Communication with a reporter from the Associated Press who wanted some comments from me. A proposal to the leaders of the pregnancy centers about the new See Baby Grow app. Check it out if you haven't already. And the state marches. We are and will continue to be very involved in the state marches for life, and I had some communication in regard to that. So that was work at my desk. With staff, we started our 8:30 briefing, met with some individual staff. 10 o'clock, had a meeting with some of our website staff that came in from off location. At 11 o'clock, had a conference call with our media firm and together with some of our administration. And then the lunch break, and then let's see, we had meetings right after lunch as well. More people coming in, like Father Dennis Wild and Brian Kemper. Brian, at 2 o'clock, met me here in the TV studio. We had him tape a number of spots, and I oversaw getting that set up. 3 o'clock, the same thing with Father Dennis Wild, taping some spots here in the studio. And then once we got him up and running with that, I met together with our executive director and with Brian, who oversees both our youth outreach and our street activism outreach. At 4:15, I was back in the studio with Father Dennis, and we taped a program together. Then at 5:30, we drove to the local hotel where various staff members were staying and had dinner there together, after which I had a work meeting with one of our staff who handles website matters. That was an evening session, and then went to bed pretty early after that. Tuesday, December 12th. Starting out, as usual, early at my desk with various work having to do with some updates of some key phone numbers that we use, approved a fax to send out to all the Catholic parishes. Talked with various pro-life leaders via email about state initiatives, working on opinion pieces, both from me and other members of our team. Getting ready for the America Fest of Turning Point USA, which I did end up going to several days later. We'll talk about that in another update. And then the plans for our upcoming programs on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Meetings started at 8:30 with the staff, and this time we had the whole team together, staff and pastoral team and outside, off location as we call them, people who work in different cities. So we went through updates from various branches of the ministry, like Rachel's Vineyard and Silent No More, update from our communications director, and so forth. Then at 10:15, I was back here in the studio. Father Dennis Wild and I taped a program and then did some additional taping. Shortly after that, at 11:50, we all met in the lobby and went out to lunch as a pastoral team, and together with Janet, our executive director. As soon as we got back from lunch, More taping in the studio. At 1:30 I met Brian here, and we got some more taping done with him. At 2:30 we had a meeting of the entire pastoral team and staff together, and we went through, not the whole staff, just the pastoral team. We went through updates from website statistics, social networking statistics, the resource department, and the website updates. That meeting lasted about an hour. Then I did more work both at my desk and also meeting up with individual staff members. And at 5:30, I left the office, went over to a nearby restaurant where I was the main speaker for the North Brevard Republican Club. And we had the club there, and I interacted with a lot of individuals there who are so supportive of our work and obviously working to make a difference here in Florida for Republican pro-life candidates. Wednesday, the 13th of December, our pastoral team meeting continued. Some of the work at my desk included preparation of liturgical videos. These are the videos we have online every day for priests to have ideas for pro-life homilies. Working on approvals for our prospecting. We'll be getting new donors, new supporters by mailing out millions of pieces of mail. In communication with the leadership of the Walk for Life West Coast, making plans and getting ready for that, which happens in January, and also in communication with Catholic Online for the online school, of which I am a big part. Staff meeting came together at 8:30. Again, we had everyone together. I gave an update of my recent trips. Father Dennis did the same, and various others like Brian Kemper did. It gave an end-of-year report. That meeting was from 8:30 till about 9:30. At 10 o'clock, Father Dennis was back here in the studio. We did more taping of spots with him. At 11:30, we had an interdenominational prayer service that I led for our volunteers. So we had the volunteers here for a Christmas lunch. We did this prayer service first. I gave a message, and then we had a very nice interaction with the volunteers around the table in the cafe, where each of them talked about what led them to volunteer with Priests for Life, and where each of our visiting staff and pastoral team members introduced themselves in case any of the volunteers didn't know them, and talked about what they do. So that was the service and lunch for the volunteers. Right after that all finished, at 1:30, the pastoral team came together once again, and we had a meeting in regard to our accomplishments of 2023 and the team plans for 2024. That was a very, very good meeting, lasted about an hour. Went back to my desk, interacted with other staff people in the meantime, and then at 4:45, we had Bob Lalonde here, who coordinates our international activities, and brought him here in the studio and got him started with taping some spots. And then at 5:30, the pastoral team all went out to dinner. And it was a very good dinner together. And after which I had one more meeting in regard to our website department and video editing team. And I did that meeting in the evening and then went to bed fairly early. And then finally, Thursday the 14th, the pastoral team meetings continued. Now I had some work at my desk in regard to opinion pieces that we're putting out. In regard to an upcoming board meeting for Priests for Life, our annual board meeting always takes place around Christmas, and had some communications about that, had some communications with legislators in Ohio, and also did some planning for the January events. We lead a lot of activities. It's not just the March for Life. It's dozens of pro-life groups doing dozens of activities and events, and we are doing some of the main ones, like the annual National Prayer Service. 8:30 was our staff briefing in the morning on Thursday the 14th, after which I also met with a couple of individual staff to go over some things. And then here in the TV studio at 9:15, I had two of our priests, Father David Begany and Father Dennis Wild. We did some tapings together, and then some tapings just with Father Begany. At 10 a.m., I had a meeting of our international team with our executive director. We talked about international pro-life developments. At 10:30, Bob Lalonde of our international outreach was here with me in the studio to tape a program. At 11 o'clock, Alveda King was with me here in the studio to tape yet another program. At 11:30, Our Rachel's Vineyard team came into the studio to do some taping, about which I gave them some guidance. And then at noon, with the pastoral team, we went into our cafe for a lunch gathering. Cafe is very nicely decorated for Christmas. Then at 2 o'clock, we had an all-staff meeting, and we continued with updates from Rachel's Vineyard, from our Washington, D.C. office, from Alveda King, from our technology department, and that was a good meeting. Met together with some other staff individually, and then at 3:45, I was back in here with Alveda King for a program that we taped together for Right Side Broadcasting Network. And then at 6:30, we all left the building for dinner. We had a nice dinner together with the pastoral team at one of the Titusville restaurants. And after that, everybody was pretty tired, so we went to bed and got ready for the conclusion of the meeting the next day. I'll talk to you about the next day and the subsequent days in my next daily diary update, but I really appreciate you following these updates. And I wish blessings upon your pro-life work as well, and gratitude for your support of all that we do at Priests for Life. We'll continue doing it faithfully and joyfully. God bless you.